So, have you heard of our Lord and Savior, the Biddy God? Well, look no further, for it is I, KaboChama. But you can just call me Daddy. I go by them pronouns, so whenever you get on all fours to address me, just keep that in mind, okay? So, I'm glad all of my students are here. Class is about to be in session, so go ahead and take your seat. Grab your pencils, pens, whatever you use. We are going to be discussing atmospheric effects today. Yay! So if you want to follow along with the template that I made, I posted the link. It's a Google Drive link. It has all the links to all of my other ones, and you can find those on YouTube if you wanna, like watch along. But anyway, the thing is on the chat right there. It's pinned. There is a version of it that is a Photoshop document, so if you want all the layers, and then there's also one that's just the JPEG if you don't want all the layers. And if you just want to hang out and lurk and just watch, that is totally fine too. So let's get into it. We are not doing character design today. That is not... Hold on, let me just... Don't mind me. There we go. Just kind of move it over. Oh god, it is not... Okay. You know what? It's just gonna have to be like that. Alright. So, I like glitched a little bit. I'm in my chair now. We're good. So, yeah, if you go to the Google Drive, this is the one that we're gonna be looking at. I have it right here. This is what it'll look like. Wow, amazing, fantastic, woo! It's this one right here, or right here, whichever one you want. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Amazing. Yes. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Alright. So, this is kind of going to be like a really fast-ish tutorial. I mean, like, my tutorials are always kind of fast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can just like pause it whenever it's like too fast for you. But anyway, you other guys who are here live, we're just gonna go right into it. What do you think? What do you say? So I have a few different things that I want to do. Oh, I got colors right here. I haven't looked at this since the last time we worked on this together. Let's freaking go. You are correct. Let's freaking go. So one of the things that I really want to discuss real fast is like a concept. I know that when we were doing the other one, we talked about like a little bit of color theory and how like shadows and highlights work. But now I want to show you guys how lowlights work in like reflected light. So I'm gonna do my fancy ball again. I'm gonna make it red. You don't have to do this unless you want to, I guess. I mean, that's fine. My computer is so slow. What's going on? Hello? Why is my CPU all the way at 100% right now? What? How does that help? Regardless. Or is it just my... it might be my pen isn't charged. Don't worry about me. Not like I'm trying to be professional or anything, gosh. Anyway, so I'm just gonna draw with a wire and everything will be fine. Anyway, so here we go. Here is my ball of red, my red ball. And the red ball has, I'm gonna go, we're gonna make a little, shadow. Wow. And then we're gonna make a little highlight. Wow! Look at that! Wow, such a great ball. So great, awesome. And here's like the ground that it's on, right? So this is what we learned last time, right? That there's like, when you go into something and you try and make a shadow, you don't just go like down, you go into the cooler colors and then also down and saturated. And then when you're doing a highlight, you go up into the more warmer colors like the yellows, and then you go up into the saturated like that, just a little bit. And that's how you do it. And it looks pretty deep, pretty cool, right? But there's something else you can do to make it even better. So I'm going to do another layer, and that is to have a reflected light and a low light. So what a low light is it's kind of, reflected light and low light are kind of the same thing when you're working in a 2D space. So basically, it's whatever your surroundings is. Your low light is going to be what the ground or like the biggest color of your background is. So usually in a natural lighting sort of sense, it's going to be a really, really light blue. Like a Miku blue over here, but it's going to be like up here. And that's usually what I work with. It makes the most sense to me. We can go in here. So what you want to do with it is you want to go in, this is too big, and you want to give your little guy a line right there. And that's your reflected light right here. You can make it thicker right here, but you don't really need to. So that's what I would call a low light or a reflected light. If you're doing painting or anything that's like a little bit more in depth than that, like more realistic, you would want to take the same color and you want to go like this. Of course, that's like way too opaque. I'm gonna blend it a little bit. Oh god. You always want to keep your shadow like a dark line right where your shadow starts, and then fade it out into this low light like this. See, look at that. It looks way more 3D now, doesn't it? Wow, amazing, wow. So this concept is what we're gonna be using, like right now, basically. What is this? Oh. I'm gonna call this low light example. Alright. So, you know, depending on what your background is, it could be really anything. What ends up happening, the reason why this is like a light blue is because it's when light goes down onto the earth, it's coming from the sky, right? And the sky is usually in the middle of the day, it's like a light blue, right? But the highlight that's being picked up is this warm yellow from the sun, and the light blue is what is being reflected by everything else. So from the ground or whatever is around you up, you're getting the reflection of that blue sky light, because that's the biggest thing that's around you, is the big blue sky, rather than like the pinpoint sun light that's coming down, creating this like highlight right here. If that makes any sense. It makes sense to me, but I had to wrap my brain around it for a while before I really understood it. but you can see it like just out in nature if you just go outside and you look at something. Like if you're in like a really really big like a forest, and you see there's a light coming at you like from the sun, like through the dapple of the trees. Your highlight will still be yellow because it's still the sunlight, but then your low light is going to be green because you're surrounded by the forest and the trees and stuff like that. So it's going to be more green. But like I said, that's just kind of like an extra thing you can do to just make it like cooler, but we're gonna use that and kind of go crazy on this drawing with it. So I like to put my low light like right here above everything else. I'm gonna keep this like where it is, what I just did, and this like Miku blue is like lighter though, and I already have a pen that I like to use that is the right width for what I do, and so I'm just gonna go ahead. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the shadows, and we're gonna, every time there's a line of the line art and then a shadow, we're going to draw against the line art this blue. That's gonna be our low light, and so we're gonna go crazy, and we're just gonna go with the blue all over the place, like that. This one, you can draw one right there, just because there is a shadow here, you just can't see it, because I didn't draw it. There's supposed to be one there though. And then here's one right here, we're gonna go all crazy. And there's one right here as well, you just don't see it because I didn't draw it. Don't worry. The reason I didn't draw it is because it would be so small that I knew that I would go over it with the low light color anyway, and it wouldn't even like the shadow would just go away because it would be so thin, like you wouldn't see it. So of course I didn't draw it. Anyway, then we're just gonna go right here, and then we're gonna go right here. I always do these layers under my line art layers so that I have like a crisp line art on top of it, so it kind of hides all my mistakes. I'm just gonna kind of make this one, see how I made this one like go into the line art right there and disappear? That's a very useful technique. Like, see, I did a shadow here, but when I go and do my line art over it, it like disappears. Whoops, not my line art, my low light. I'm getting my terms mixed up. Don't listen to me. I mean, like, listen to me, but like don't at the same time. We're just gonna go crazy, go stupid, woo. You know how it is, you know how it is. Pretty fun times, I think, at least. And I'm just kind of using this point right here to really sharpen that edge. Woo, go crazy, go stupid, woo. Yes, thank you. Thank you for being on the same vibe as me. Alright, good enough, right? Sometimes I like to add a little bit of boop in the eyes, just because I think it's fun. Maybe like this too. And sometimes I like to highlight like where things would happen, like that maybe. Here's one over here. No, I hate that. You could do this right here, just a little bit. What this really does is it kind of like brings it off the page a little bit more. It like shows that there's something underneath it, and that there is space between the thing that you're drawing on top of and the thing that's underneath that, Like here, like look. When I zoom out, over here, you can tell that this is coming out before, like this is in front of this back here, right? But this one it's harder to tell because there's no low light. There's no added depth to it. It's just kind of the same as what's underneath. This low light makes it pop out more. Gives it priority, I guess, from everything behind it. Very important. Very important. I'm gonna kind of do this. There we go. And I'm gonna do this as well. So I like zooming in and zooming out just to kind of like see. If this was a painting, you would see me like go like. So I do it in real life too. But I understand it's jarring. That's why I made this and the side so big, so that you can see and not have to deal with my bullshit. You can see the overall image, I guess. Go crazy, go stupid, woo! Okay, I'm not really gonna care much about being precise right now. I just want to get this done so I can move on because I have a lot of other things I want to talk about. And I don't want to bore you guys by sitting here and like making you guys watch me draw this. I want to give you guys tips rather than bore you to death. But never go outside your line art. Number one rule. See, look at how much better that looks. So great. Okay. No, that's fine, that's fine. I would do this ear. Okay, and this desperately needs some extra little oomph, so I'm gonna go in and do this as well. I know I'm not following the line art, don't worry about it. On yours, please make sure you do follow the line art. Oh my god, are we auto-saving again? We can never get bored in here. Thanks. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Okay. Especially when you have really, really dark colors, like different forms of black, it's very important to do a low light because otherwise it gets really, really hard to see it. I mean, that's the point of black, right? But if you're doing anything, you know, like a painting or something like that, then you want to be able to see your hard work, you know? I didn't think this would have such an effect for being so simple. Right? Right? When I'm done, I'm gonna do like a before and after, and you're gonna be like, oh my god. It's very useful. Very useful. Especially on black. Especially on black. On black, honestly, I just go crazy. I just kind of outline everything. Because it just looks better. Like, I kind of ignore my own rules for that. See, like, look how much better that looks. Like, you can really see your line art details. Because, you know, you don't want to, like, spend ages on your line art and then just not even be able to see it. That's stupid. It kind of highlights where your line art is and highlights what people need to pay attention to. Okay, so this is what I got. Now I'm going to show you the before and the after, right? So this is the before. It's pretty flat, right? But you know, it's still pretty okay. But this looks so much better. It really does. It really does. We could go further and we could do the other thing that I was showing you guys. Like just a little bit of boop, 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 here and there. This is really for like really big spaces of shadow that you have. You want to use this. You know, you don't want to use it every single place you have a shadow, just like the big spaces. Because it gets kind of ridiculous if you use it everywhere. Then you just kind of muddy out all of your, you know, all of your shadows. And you don't want to do that. You never want to do that. Like this is a little too much, honestly. Use this version of a low light sparingly. There, see? Okay, I'm gonna merge these so you can see the before and after. Okay, watch. Before, after. Before, after. Makes a big difference. It really does. It's just a little tiny like boop boop, but it makes a really big difference. It really does. The other thing I want to show you guys is something that works on skin tones. This kind of like bumps it up into the next level of skin. This is like you have skin and it's great. This makes your skin like glisten and shine, and it's so pretty. So I'm gonna show you. Basically what you end up doing, I don't know the correct term for this. I never learned this in school. I just saw it in a digital art thing one time and I use it all the time now. So you wanna go and get a red like this. Pretty saturated, but not like, oh, intense. You know, you just wanna go like, maybe there. Maybe, yeah, a little purple. And you want to get either a brush that like blends it out a little bit, or you want to get like a big brush like this and then kind of blur it out later. And what you want to do is you want to go along your shadows on the skin only, and you just want to draw over them like this. Like anywhere where there's a transition between normal and shadow for skin tones, you want to draw it. See how this is a shadow? I'm not drawing it there because there's no transition. So you want to do this, and you want to go over and you want to do, I think it's color burn. And then I like to make it really blurry. So I go Gaussian blur right here, go all the way. It might not be this one, it might be color dodge instead. Let me see color dodge. It's color dodge. It's color dodge. So you want to go into your blending options and do color dodge, and then you want to lower the opacity just a little bit to like right there. That's good. Okay, so before, after, before, after, before, after. It makes like this like glowing effect, and it's really cool, I think. I don't know what it's called, but that's just a little tip. Another thing you can do is you can go in and do like cute little dots here and there. Did I already do that? No, I did not. So I'll show you where the dots should be. This is for skin or any kind of like metal or like slick material, very important. So I'm getting like a really small brush, and I'm going in and I'm doing like some on the cheeks, just like 2. One on the nose maybe? I already did it on the tongue right here. Sometimes I like to do it on here. I like to like do some lines and then blur them out a little bit. Oh god, that's too much blurring. Yeah, like that. See, look, cute. And then go in, maybe do like a few right here, maybe one right there. If this were like, I mean, I guess the white is like a little too much, but you can go in and do like on the knuckles. And then this is too bright for me. I don't really like how bright it is, so I'm gonna go boop. And you can do it on, if this is like a an open shoulder, like a, you know, the cut up shirt, like off the shoulder shirt, you can do like a little boop boop right there. You can do one on the elbows and the knees, on like the thighs, the booty, you know, all that stuff. When you do thighs or like a long, like select forearm or like muscle you want to highlight or something like that, what you can do is you can go like little dot, big dot, and then go woo like that, and then maybe end with another dot. And that kind of gives the, I don't know words, it makes it kind of look like it's like slick and nice and soft to the touch, you know. I'll just leave that there. Yeah. So that's another one. I don't really know what to call this one. Skin dots is what I'll call it. Skin dots. I'm gonna call this one skin glow. Skin glow. Okay. Another really, really important thing to note is when you have line art, if you have time, of course, you always want to color your line art. It's very important to color your line art because it makes it look so much better, I promise. So watch. So I made a layer on top of my line art, and then I'm gonna go and do a clipping layer on top. This is the clipping layer right here. It's very important. I explained it in my in the few tutorials before this one. I think it was color, like flat color tutorial, if you want to go watch that one. So we're going to do a clipping layer. I'm going to call this line color. Very important. And I'm going to grab colors. So I just grabbed this orange that's like in the shadow. And this is the orange that I popped up with, so I'm gonna go a little bit darker and a little more saturated, like that. And because this is like mostly orange lines that I'm gonna be dealing with, I'm just gonna do my whole canvas as that orange color, and it'll change the line color automatically because it's clipped to the line art layer. So then I know that I've done all my hair, which is great. Now I'm gonna go in and do, maybe I should do skin tone. So I like to grab in the shadow again, and I'm gonna go a little bit darker, a little bit more saturated, like this. And then I'm gonna zoom in and really concentrate on all of my skin. Everywhere where there's skin, I'm gonna just color like this. I'm gonna try and not get it into the orange or the parts that I know are supposed to be orange. I don't really care about this purple because we haven't done that yet, but the parts that are supposed to be orange, I'm gonna look out for because I don't want to have to go in and do it again. So we're just gonna go crazy, go stupid, you know how it is. And you know, usually I'd be like more intense about making sure this is close to the other line and like making it flush and pretty. But we're going fast today because there's a lot I want to do. So here we are. Yeah. Cool. So now that we have that, which is great, we're gonna go in and we're gonna do this purple. So this purple, as you can see, is really dark and also really, really light. When I have a really, really dark and a really, really light color that's basically the same color as just a dark version and a light version, I like to go with like a medium tone and just do everything as the medium tone, because when you do it on the dark layer, it looks, you can see it better. See, like that. Look at this versus like a black. See how you can barely see that black? I don't really like that. I mean, like, realistically, that's how it works, but then you can't see all of the effort and time I put into the line art, so I like to make it lighter than the black. Because as an artist, as you all know, once you know the rules, you can break them. Because you know how to make the broken rules make sense. Make it make sense, you know? If you can make it make sense, then you are valid. If you just break the rules because you don't know the rules, you're not valid. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, always at least attempt to learn the rules before you break them. But once you know them, yeah, go for it, break them, you know? Rules are meant to be broken after all. That's why they're there. I mean, I guess you can, you know, you can learn the rules, or you can break the rules without learning them, but at that point you just look like an idiot, you know? Like, go for it, I guess, but... So what I did is I grabbed the darkest part of this tongue, and I did the same thing. I went into the darker, more saturated, and sometimes I think that the skin tone is like a little too light for some of like the mouth features and the face features. So I used this like darker version to kind of go at the mouth and the under eyelashes. Like these. I think it looks better. It looks better that way. Don't you? I think it does. Sometimes I like to do the nose with it too. But the other details can stay the same. And of course, always remember to do the eyes. Sometimes I forget to do the eyes, but you can make the eyes really, really cool. What I like to do is make the outline of the eyes like a super saturated version. So I'm like going in with a super bright yellow. Like this. And then this is supposed to be like an orange. I like to make it super bright. Oh, that's a little too bright. Like this. And that way you can really see the eyes and the pupils. That's just my take on things though. Like a lot of people like doing eyes, like a lot. So they have like their own way of doing it. And that is totally valid. I never want to take that away from people. That's just how I do it. Sometimes I like to put little dots in the eyes themselves, like the eyelashes right here. Well, no, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do like classic anime eyes. So for classic anime eyes, what happens is they have a black in the center, like this, and then on the outer parts of the eye, it's like a red. So like a this. This is how it happens. And then you blend the two. Blend the black into the red, not the other way around. Do it like this. Okay? Like that. And then they take whatever color they want. I'm gonna do, let's do orange because that's my hair color. Maybe this color. And then we're gonna put in like little tiny lines in the center, like this. And then we're gonna lightly blend these, just a little bit. Boop. Boop. And that's how anime eyelashes work. Yeah, I love drawing eyes, but then you can see the difference in effort. Fair enough, yeah. I don't put very much effort into my eyes at all. Anyway, yeah, this is how I do things. Sometimes I'll go up here and I'll get this green and make it darker, and then I'll go like boop boop, and then I'll go and blur these together to make it a transition, like a nice transition. And it looks nicer, right? Wow, wow, amazing, fantastic. So, yeah, line color, very important. Another thing, so that's like basically, well, no, we're not gonna, no. So, another thing that I do to make something look a little bit more finished is I go onto another layer, I grab a gradient, and I already have this kind of, like programmed into my system, but, I put a gradient on my thing, like this. This is what it looks like. We can make the example go away. So it's blue at the bottom, a pink in the middle, and yellow at the top. Basically, it could be red in the middle or orange or whatever you want it to be in the middle. Just as long as it's like right here on the color wheel, you're fine. What this does is it kind of acts as another highlight and low light layer gradient that's on top of your image. So everything looks very uniform, very nice, very completed. So you have like, you know, the things at the bottom are going to be darker. The things at the top are going to be lighter. So, and the things in the middle are more like a mid-tone. And that's what I like to do. And what I do is I put this layer on overlay, and then I lower the opacity a fuck ton until maybe like 15-16%. It looks good, you know? It looks more professional that way. But another way you can do it if you don't have, you know, a gradient tool that you want to do, is you can grab, you know, like a deep blue. I go like super saturated. Anyway. And I just go boop, boop, boop. This is what I did before I learned there was a gradient tool. Then I went up here to the yellow. I did the yellow. And then I went over here to like between the pink and the red. And I did this. And then I would go into my blur. I make it really, really big. I would blur them. And it takes like a fuck ton of time and effort for the computer to realize that I want to blend. Because it's so big. You know. And when you want to make it as smooth as possible, do what you need to do, live your life and your choices the way you want to make them, whatever, I don't care. Anyway, that's pretty good. And then, you know, you would do the same thing. You would go overlay, and then you would lower the opacity to like maybe like 15-16%. Like right there. So, without with, without with, without with. See how it like makes it more believable that it is there looking at you, right? Very important. Very important. So I'll do that later. There's a few other ways, a few other tricks that I like to do to really like finalize an image, but I want to give you guys some other tips and tricks on various things that you may end up wanting to draw in the future, without, and like how to like get it looking the way you want it to look. We'll definitely experiment with that later. Yeah, it's really cool, really fun. There's a lot of, like, if you want to do blending options, you can go in, you can do like exclusion. That's really cool. I just, you know, did the opacity 100% or whatever. Saturation is really fun. You know, divide, that's pretty cool. Color burn, well, color burn's not that great. No, I don't really like that. You know, you can go in and really like have a lot of fun with it, you know? Different. There's some really cool ones. But yeah, we can do a KaboClass on blending options at some point, and we can go through all of them and I'll explain how they all work. But yeah, so a lot of times people want to draw spicy stuff, right? Ooh, those look cool. They do, don't they? Yeah. So when you draw spicy stuff, a lot of spicy relies on the extra stuff you put on top of your image, like breathing and sweating and like intense movement. Those are, and like twitching. Those are really, really important for spicy work. So I'm just gonna go through and show you guys how to do each one, and you know, just use that knowledge however you want. So breath is really easy, honestly. What I like to do is breathing is usually like this way, like clouds, you know, are like this, but breathing is just like that. So sometimes I like to like add a few little dots together here and there, like that maybe. And then what I do is I go in, and this actually might be too big to do this, but I go all the way with my blur, and we wait. Actually, it's not looking too bad. Okay, and then I lower the opacity to like 50%, and then I go on top of it with white, of course, and I just kind of like casually outline the bubbles. Oop, that's way too much. Like this, and then I will lower that opacity, and then maybe lower this. Just lower it until you like it. Do whatever you want. That's how you do breath. Pretty simple, pretty nice. You know, it is what it is. I'm gonna merge these and call it breath. Oh, and blushing, of course, that's very important as well. There's a lot of different ways to do breath. That's just how I do it. It's very easy, very simple. Another one is sweat. So this kind of goes in with like physics a little bit, just a little bit. You just got kind of wrap your head around your subject in a 3D space and kind of imagine something dropping off of it. So sweat goes on the skin, right? You're not gonna have sweat in your hair unless your skin touches your hair and the sweat transfers off. You're not gonna have sweat on top of your clothes unless you touch something that is sweaty. I'm still relatively new to Clip Studio, so these tips really help. Awesome. I'm glad. Honestly, I don't know how to use Clip Studio Paint. I just know maybe 3 things that are universal to all programs. So yeah, maybe one day we'll learn Clip Studio Paint together. Anyway though, so when you have sweat, you really, or tears, or snot, or drool, whatever you want, what you want to do is you want to highlight the curves of whatever you're doing. That if you highlight the curves, you will make it look like something's dripping off of it. So for instance, a tear. So you would go and you would do like a little bubble, like a little boop boop boop, and then you would highlight this curve. You wouldn't touch, you would highlight it, and then just pretend this finger is not in the way. You would continue down like this, and then you would draw like a bubble right there. That would be a good tear. And this one, this is a cheek. There is a crevice right here that runs along like this. So you're gonna follow that and draw a little bubble like that. You never want to connect your lines because water weirdly doesn't, it just disappears to the eye when it connects with each other. You can also go in and do like this kind of deal, like this, and then just erase this line right here if you want to connect them. Very nice, very cool. Of course, with drool, you want to kind of do the same thing. Sometimes if you do like a little boop boop, like if you have a big bubble right here, you want to do that in it so that it looks like there are 2 streams that are joining together. Because you're not going to have this one big wet area. In 2D, of course. In 3D, yeah, totally. When you start crying and your entire face is just moist. Yeah, disgusting. But it's hard to draw that in a 2D way. So you gotta make your sacrifices, right? Anyway, I won't do any tears because KaboChama does not cry. I don't cry, okay? Anyway, but I do sweat. So I'll do sweat. A lot of times sweat is really, sweat and tears are kind of you have to be careful. If you do something that's right here on the cheek, close to the eye, it's gonna look like it's a tear from far away, and you don't want to do that. So what you want to do instead is make sure that it's on the this side of the cheek, like this. A lot of times doing it above the eye is good, and just little beads here and there. So once it stops goddamn auto-saving, I'll show you. So a boop and then a boop, I like to do 2 together because just one looks kind of weird sometimes, but sometimes it works. A lot of times having things drip off the chin or drip off the nose is really good. Or drip off the tongue. And what you would do is you wouldn't go right up to the line. You would give the line a little space, follow it, and then make a drip, and then follow it again and stop. See how I did that for all of these? Because you never can see with the naked eye where water is on a surface. You just see the outline of the top of it. Because it's clear, right? So that's what it will look like. See, look! Now KaboChama is sweaty. That's kind of weird. Anyway. After that, what I like to do is I like to lower the opacity so that it doesn't look weird from afar, and when you zoom in you realize, oh yeah, no, that's sweat. You know, and it gives like an extra little like, oh, like a little sparkle, like a little Easter egg for the viewer to look at. It's always good to have an Easter egg for the viewer, because then they'll spend more time looking at your stuff. Also, you know, when you look at someone, unless their face is like super red, you really can't tell that they're sweating unless you like really get up close to them, you know? Or unless they have like sweat marks on all of their clothes. Then yeah, totally. But yeah, I won't, you know, you just gotta go up close for that. This also works for wet stuff, if you know what I mean. Ladies in chat, you know what I mean? Yeah. Works for that too. Especially like the tears and stuff, works for that. Very well. Lol. Yeah, you get it, you get it. So that is sweat, tears, water. Sweat, tears, water. So I'm making it go away. What else did I want to do? Sweat. Oh, like movement. Yeah, we can do movement. So movement is kinda difficult. What I do for movement is I flatten my image. We wait. I copy it, and then I Control Z. And then I go on top of whatever I'm doing. So that would be this overlay right here. And I paste the layer that I just copied. And so now we have a perfect replica of the art that we have as one single image. And then I go into my blur tool. And I go to the fingertip. And then I go and do whatever movement I want. So if there's movement going, let's say from here to here, so like from this top right corner down to the bottom left with this hair right here, like if I'm moving my head really, really fast, then there's gonna be a point in which this part of my hair drags this way, if that makes sense at all. Like if you were like to capture it with a camera, it would be blurred right here, because this is where the last point in which my head was, and my head was moving so fast that I just kind of like blurred, right? So you want to move this up just a little bit and just keep going. And just keep going. You can even do, yeah, like some of that. Just, you want to like center it at a point. And just kind of have everything else kind of, you know, go along with it, I guess. Like that. This is a terrible, terrible example because this image doesn't, I didn't draw it in movement, so it doesn't really make sense. However, if it was in movement, if I did draw it in movement, then you would just lower this opacity just a little bit. And then look, wow, it looks like I'm in movement. It looks like I'm blurred just a little bit. Just a little bit. So that would be the technique you would use when you have a subject in motion, or an object, or whatever the focal point is in movement. That's how you would do that. I'll just call this movement. And we're gonna make it go away. What is this? Absolutely nothing. Okay. This is gonna be blush. We're gonna go and do blush next. So for blush, I like to go into this like kind of like purpley red. So like this would be like an orange red, and then over here would be a purpley red. And I like to go maybe right here. Get my big pen and just go whoop, and then whoop, and whoop. I like to do the ears too. I think it's cute when the ears are blushing. And then we go in and we blur. I didn't mean to do that. All the way. We wait. Wow. Honestly, that's not blurred enough for me. I'm gonna blur it some more. And we're gonna go into blend. Yeah. That is better to me. Really get a nice blend there. So you really can't tell where the brush ended. And then we lower the opacity. And then I like to do one on top. Get this really, really intense color. Go in it with a really thin pen. And then make lines consistently going down all the way across your image at the same consistent angle. If this is difficult for you, just practice keeping your arm in the same place and moving your arm down. Don't bend your wrist at all. It will not help you. It will make your life so much more difficult. Your line will be curvy. It'll look disgusting. Keep your wrist locked and move your arm down. You twist at your shoulder, not your wrist. Okay? So, bam. I like to make some big and some small. And they need to be evenly spaced, okay? Keep the wrist locked. Got it. Yeah. Very important. Honestly, that might have been too small of a brush. I'm gonna redo that with a different brush because that was really bad. You can like not see it at all. Okay, we're gonna do it with my line art pen. See how my lines are consistent and pretty much consistently spaced? That's what the important part is. So you want to grab that once you're done. You want to take your select tool. You just honestly, I don't even know what. Just grab this layer. Control C, Control V. That's pasting. And then grab your select. Grab all the lines. Press the move tool. And then slightly drag it to the side so that there's double. Like this. This is why it was important. I mean, it's important anyway, but even more important to keep your lines consistently spaced apart so that when you do this part, you can make it look like you drew every single little tiny individual line instead of just only half of them. You know? Anyway, then I like to merge. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. Then merge your line layers. Like this. and then lower the opacity to whatever you want. I like to do the lines a little like this. See, look at that. Wow, so cute. See, this is cute. And then this is a little sexy. And then this is like, oh god. See what I mean? Could we go up close? You're like, oh, 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 oh. Oh. You know what I mean? Like italicized. Oh. You know what I mean? Yeah, you get it, you get it. Anyway, we're gonna merge these layers. I'm gonna call this blush. Yeah, looked like stuff is about to get heated. Yeah, exactly. But bam, we're back to normal. Woo! Okay, we did blush, we did movement, we did sweat, we did breath, we did low light, we did line color, we did movement. That's a lot. We did a lot. Okay, one last thing, guys. One last thing. So when you have your finished image, of course, a really good way to kind of finalize everything and make it look really, really nice, of course, is to sign. Always sign your work. I'll sign this one. I like to sign mine in white with this calligraphy pen. On like a flat line surface, kind of sort of in the middle. Like that. And then I'll do an overlay layer. Lower the opacity. There you go. Amazing. And then what I like to do is, of course, make whatever layers you want active, or what you want on your final piece active right now. Like make them, you know, come to light. So if you want the blush, if you want the sweat, if you want the breath, and just like make it appear. If you know, made it disappear earlier. I'm gonna keep mine like this. And what I like to do is, like we did earlier, I flatten everything. So it's just one image. I copy it, and then I Control Z again. I paste it once. I go and blur it, Gaussian blur, or Gaussian blur. I do halfway, so 100 whatever points, strength, whatever. I don't really know what it is. So we do this. We wait for 5 years. Okay, and then I like to copy it and paste it again. And what we can do now is I'm gonna make one of them disappear really quick because I want to show you. I don't know why I'm pressing select. Don't press select. We're gonna wait for the autosave because it always wants to fuck with me. Okay, and then I go in and I do a multiply layer. See how it's super dark now? And then we just kind of make it go however much you want, however much darker you want. I'm gonna say like this is pretty good. and then I bring it underneath the other layer. I make the other layer visible, and then I make this layer into an overlay layer, and I pull it down as well. And what this does is it kind of like gives it a glow and also gives it some more like contrast with itself. So this is the before, and then this is the overlay layer to make it kind of glow. See how it kind of glows? Okay, makes it a little more saturated. And then this makes it more contrasting, a little darker. And what the blur does is it like blurs these just like ever so slightly, like these lines. It's ever so slightly blurred, and you can't really notice it unless you back up, but it makes it into like a more finished final look, like what you would see on the screen if you're watching anime. Like if you watch Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, you can see that they put an overlay and a multiply layer on top of their art, their animation, because there's that like faint little buzz that you get between the lines. Like it's clean, but there's just the slightest blur to their lines, like around their lines as well. So you know that they did that. Like if you just blurred this slightly, it wouldn't look good. But because we have the multiplier layer and the overlay layer, it blurs everything. So everything has a slight glow to it, which looks more finished. So yeah, that is my explanation of a bunch of different various atmospheric techniques. I hope this was useful to you guys. I hope. If not, it was just me going on a tangent as always. But yeah, if you followed along and you want to share your art, which no pressure if you don't, no pressure. But if you do want to, you can send it to me, or you can post it on. Oh, that's my act. You can post it on Twitter using #KaboClass, and I'll see it, and I'll comment on it, and I'll tell you how amazing you are. But yeah, so that's it for KaboClass. You are free to go to your next class, your next period. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and learning some stuff. Hope it was helpful. Yeah. So this Saturday, tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a fanfiction reading, if you're into that. I'm really into it. It's going to be really great. I'm really, really nervous about it. Because not only is it by one of my favorite fanfiction authors of all time, my actual favorite author, just like in general, period, of all time, but also the author is coming to the actual stream, or at least it says that it will, and it's going to be in chat, and I'm really nervous about it, and I hope I do it well. But it's going to be great anyway. Anyway, I hope you'll join me. I hope I'm not too nervous about it. I'm just gonna be like blankly being like and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Yeah. So yeah, I ended up just watching because this was very useful. But I will show you my drawings as soon. I really want to. Amazing. When I get the courage, no worries at all. I was looking the whole time. Yes. Good. I'm glad you looked. You're gonna do great. Thanks. You got this. You are God. We'll be there. I believe in you. Thanks. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Alrighty, I'm gonna go now. But I hope you guys have a great night. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye. KaboChama signing out. Bye-bye.